The UK is one of the least forested countries in Europe. Today, only 13% of our landscape is tree covered. You hear a lot about planting trees to tackle climate change, but the truth is a bit more complicated and way more interesting. I'm going to discover the human stories behind the quest to regrow truly wild forests.
We made it to the summit. Wow. Woo! That is so beautiful. What a welcome to Scotland. It doesn't get better than this. It's absolutely staggering. This is the Great Wilderness. Although it's strange to think that it would have once been a lot more wild.
When we think of deforestation, we think of places like the Amazon or Southeast Asia, but the view below me tells a different story.
If I'd stood up here a couple of hundred years ago, this would have once been covered in trees.
I'm on my way to one of the last remaining fragments of native pinewood forest in the Scottish Highlands. I'm travelling north to Loch Arkaig. It's a special place as the local community here came together with the Woodland Trust to buy the land.
Well, hello.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm good. How's yourself?
Yeah, good. Hey, buddy. Hey there.
Nice to meet you.
Liam. Hey, I'm Jack. Nice to meet you. Yeah, real pleasure.
My guide is Liam McClune. He works with the Woodland Trust to restore ancient woodlands by the side of the loch.
I'm Liam, and I'm an environmental contractor. I specialise in the maintenance of ancient woodland. I kind of fell into it, to be honest. The forest itself just sort of grabbed me, and the project was really inspiring. And 5 years later, here I am. I could see myself being at Loch Arkaig for the rest of my days, hopefully. To really know the forest, to know individual trees or where to find certain plants is something that I would struggle to leave now. It's just a really, really great place to be.
The best way to see this remote forest is to access it from the loch itself.
Look, we're here. God, look at this. It's so beautiful.
This is Scotland's very own rainforest.
It looks like a rainforest seeing ferns.
Yeah.
God, it's just full of life. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
So this is very rainforest looking.
Yeah. If you, like, covered my eyes, brought me here and then opened them and told me I was in Costa Rica, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yep.
It looks like a set. It's like someone sort of designed this.
Yep. No, that's just nature.
Look at that. That is what you call a living wall.
You need this dense canopy to retain this moisture in you.
Yeah.
I can see what's captivated Liam about this place. But the sad fact is that only fragments of this pristine forest have survived the multiple threats of deforestation, grazing animals, and plantations.
And we move into here, and it's just bare ground.
What a difference. It's like night and day. It's just suddenly no life. And it's sort of eerily quiet.
So in these really thick plantations, there's no light getting in, and no light means no life. So yeah, these plantation species are just shading out all the native ground flora and native trees. And so they're completely dominating the canopy and the ground floor.
So in a native rainforest, you have much more diverse range of trees, more of an ecosystem.
Yeah.
And here it's just a monoculture, essentially.
Yes, exactly. It's a crop.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of trees lost to crowding out by non-native species.
This magnificent Caledonian pine once supported many native plants, mosses, insects, birds, and mammals.
So once upon a time, this would have been a thriving, happy tree, doing its thing, sucking carbon out of the atmosphere,
Yeah, exactly.
providing a habitat.
Yep.
And then these guys were planted,
Yep, these guys would have been planted in the 70s.
and they just grew up.
gradually crept up past it,
Wow.
shading it out bit by bit.
And they've sort of just sucked the life out of it.
Yep, as well as taking the nutrients from below as well, out competing. It can do it to even species of this height.
Primary forests support entire ecosystems and store way more carbon than plantations. Now I've experienced myself the difference between a biodiverse forest and a crop plantation, I can understand why planting any old tree isn't the best response to climate change.
A lot of your job is focusing on solving the problems that forests face. Do you ever feel overwhelmed?
Yeah, I mean, I feel most people who are switching on to the climate crisis do. It's massive, it's hard to comprehend. There's definitely hope. I mean, things are definitely changing. I think the big question is, are they going to change fast enough?
At the end of an exhausting day, I'm staying in a remote, off-grid bothy. It's given me the chance to reflect on the challenges of regrowing forests. Wherever you are in the world, using native seeds and saplings is the one key approach, and there are people coming up with ingenious ways to plant them. In Kenya, like many other countries, the forests are vanishing.
My name is Teddy Kinunjui. I'm co-founder of Seedballs Kenya.
One of the main drivers of this tree loss is the local need for charcoal, made by partially burning wood.
Many people can't either afford or won't get access to electricity or gas or other methods of cooking, and so of course they have to rely on charcoal use. The charcoal makers selectively target certain species of trees, and after enough years of that, those climax hardwood types will be completely removed.
But Teddy's found an ingenious solution to replant native woodland in an unlikely ally, the charcoal trade itself.
So wherever they sell charcoal in the cities, there's a lot of waste that's left over on the ground. So we buy that from those vendors, and we use different types of indigenous tree seeds, and we coat them with waste dust that we buy from the markets. If you imagine in nature, for all of these indigenous seeds, so many of them are food for different types of animals. So the charcoal protects them from that. It basically disguises the seed from any passing by seed eater. And so the idea being that now this can be thrown out year round, so you don't have to try and time the rains, and then it'll just sit there waiting for enough rain to come. Once it rains hard enough, the charcoal dust will melt away, and then the seed is back in its natural state and able to start growing.
In this race against time, it's all about speeding up Mother Nature to find a faster way to create mixed native woodland.
So the urgency is now, and we need to do something as soon as possible to help repair a lot of these places.
But crucially, seed balls are also cheap to make.
Each seed ball is only a penny a piece. It's a very low-cost way of reforesting, especially hard-to-reach areas.
Getting the seed balls out there is easy, as they don't need to be planted in the ground. You can simply drop them where you want them to grow.
Aerial dispersal is a very interesting method because not only does it mimic how a lot of seeds are planted by birds pooping them out somewhere, but it also allows to access places that otherwise would be very expensive, time-consuming, or dangerous, potentially because of wildlife, to get in and do reseeding.
It's inspiring to take something as destructive as charcoal and find a way to grow new forests. After a surprisingly comfy night in the bothy, it's an early start for me.
Today we're setting off to do some tree climbing.
I'm meeting ecologist and forester Henry Dobson, who is also working on ways to plant the right mix of trees so the forest can regenerate and thrive.
I think I've found the tree we're going up. Huge!
Near the top of this tree are seeds which Henry needs to replant the forests. And I'm going to help him check on them.
Well, I'll see you guys later.
Trees like this are called granny pines. Their twisted branches meant that they were difficult to make use of in the 18th century sawmills.
Woo! Top of the world. Look at that. So the only other creature that gets to have this view is an osprey.
And you can see why they picked this spot, can't you?
And you can see where the denser dark plantation rows begin.
There still are little patches of ancient forest hanging on in this landscape. And that's where incredibly large amount of rare wildlife manages to hang on, because those forests have been there since the Ice Age, 10,000 years ago. So that's like an incredible stability. And our job here is trying to not just keep a little pocket hanging on, but trying to actually start to restore a landscape to allow all those species to thrive. You know, because with climate change, that could be the last nail in the coffin.
I love that idea that you're just stepping in to aid nature's natural process. We're not changing what it does, just speeding things up, essentially.
It's really disappointing coming back down to earth again,
I know,
isn't it?
right? I don't want to come down. I'm quite happy up in the tree. This tree that it's been here for 250 years. That is the time that we have got ourselves into this climate crisis. Oh, touchdown on the ground.
Oh, strange feeling.
Wow. Nice one. That was great. Everything that's happened in our lifetimes, the entire Industrial Revolution has happened in the time that this tree has been growing. That's a crazy thought.
Survivors, like the granny pine, act as a rich seed bank for the regeneration of the forest. As part of their work here, Henry and the team carefully collect a mix of seeds from all the remaining native trees.
It's like a natural seed bomb.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So cool. So you take these seeds, you put them in your pockets,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you sort of hand disperse them.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally throwing them out on the ground, trying to make it as simple, as near a natural process as possible.
With much of the native wildlife wiped out as the forest was cleared, we need to mimic the natural processes to help it grow back. So we're going to play the part of wild boar.
Serious work in the rain here with their pickaxes. Do they get coats? What's the deal?
So you can see all this grass. This is what appears when you get kind of a certain level of deer grazing for a long time. And trees really, really struggle to seed into it. And naturally would have more digging animals like the wild boar. So these guys are basically my volunteer wild boar for the day.
And so how does it work? The ground's turned and then you start to put the seeds in? Or
Yeah,
what's the
all it needs
process?
is just a little bit of bare soil.
I'll give it a go. Come on, I can't just stand here and watch. I feel like I'm gonna end up being in a t-shirt, aren't I? It looks like it's seriously hard work.
With the shoulder,
Just-
and then
It's pretty heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, then you, exactly.
That felt pathetic.
you want to get it right in.
I think that's what's so overwhelming about the climate crisis is the idea that what can you do? Because one of the things I've learned on this trip is everyone can only do their bit. And actually maybe there's more satisfaction and hope in just like finding one small thing and doing that rather than like trying to take on this huge challenge.
It makes it seem a lot more manageable when you think of it like that as well.
Totally.
Like, just if you do one task and you do it really well and another person does another task really well, actually we can find a solution.
Yeah.
And there's the climate justice side as well. It's where we have a responsibility to act and to make a difference. And you can start small in projects like this, and everyone can do something.
Stamping our feet helps bed the seeds in and gives them the best chance of germinating.
We used to play football around that tree. We used to, have picnics around that tree. We used to swing on the tree. So it was really like part of the community. A few years later, they cut down the tree. And so when they cut it down, I actually cried. That specific tree, growing up with it, seeing it grow with us and my friends, we had a bond almost. And so that's when I knew that I really love trees, have connection with them. My name is Lesei Mutunkei. I'm 17 years old. I come from Nairobi, Kenya.
Lesane was spurred into action by the sheer scale of woodland destruction in Kenya. Every week, hundreds of hectares of forest are lost. It's hard to wrap your head around that kind of scale, so Lesane turned to what he knows best.
I didn't have an idea of how that looked, but what I did is that I changed it to the size of football pitches, and it added up to the size of 138 football pitches every day. So being able to now think of 138 football pitches made me feel like I needed to do something about this. For me, that was the reason that I started this whole initiative, because I didn't understand how that was possible, basically. Yeah.
Lesane came up with an inspiring response, kicking off a campaign to replant the forests using football.
The idea was pretty simple. I committed as a footballer that for every goal I score, I plant 11 trees.
This simple but ingenious idea taps into his everyday passion. So far, Lesane and his teammates have planted over 2,200 trees, and his hope is that it sets a trend that catches on with footballers across the world.
Football has educated people about the environment. An example is how a player in Arsenal called Hector Bellerin, he has an initiative just like mine, and he basically plants trees for every game they win. And so that has actually been able to reach out to different fans about the environment and his cause and the reason he's doing it.
Tackling deforestation means more of us getting off the sidelines and getting involved like Lesane.
I feel disappointed because I feel that the other generations let us down, and they really expect my generation now to be able to know exactly what to do, how to do it. The way people are not taking this thing seriously, it just frustrates me sometimes, and I just feel like... Sorry. Sorry.
But Lesane does have hope.
One of my messages to young people is that, like, every little thing that they do, no matter how small, makes the difference. Because imagine one of my friends planting a tree, and then he passes it on, and they pass it on, and they pass it on, and we have 1 million people planting a tree. That's 1 million trees that we didn't have. And so people don't understand, like, them just taking that action inspires so many other people. One, the entire world can be involved in this movement of Trees for Goals, and we can reverse climate change with it. And also young people like me who love to play football and who also love outdoors with one goal in mind, and that's to get the ball in the back of the net and plant some trees.
Hello, Jack.
Lesane, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, man. I've had the chance to watch some of the amazing footage of you, but it's so nice to connect in real life. I think the challenge is how we make taking action feel fun and exciting rather than feel like a sacrifice. And I think that's what you've done with your scheme. You know, you've gamified it in a way. You've found a way to relate it to something you're personally so passionate about. Credit to you, man. Honestly, it's really, really inspiring.
Thank you so much.
What do you see for the future?
I believe that football is a universal game, and the climate crisis and deforestation is a universal problem. And I believe that sports and football specifically has the power to change, to connect, and to inspire my generation to create a greener future. So I'm definitely looking forward to spreading Trees for Goals, making it a global movement. Football clubs, national leagues, even in the World Cup, all the billions of fans can be taking actions to, conserving the environment. So I'm definitely excited.
So not too big ambitions then? I love that, dude. And I really don't think that future is far away. It's such a brilliant concept you've come up with, really. It's simple, but it's powerful. Honestly, it gives me so much hope that there are young people like you who are coming up with these initiatives. Before I let you go and get on with your day, there's one little final thing that I'd love to share with you. I have something for you. It's an Arsenal shirt. It's signed by a certain someone called Hector Bellerin and his teammates. And so we're going to package it up and make sure it gets sent to you as soon as possible.
What?
I hear he's a little bit of a hero for you.
Oh, my days. I didn't expect that one. Oh, my days. I will frame it.
A small recognition of the amazing work that you're doing. You know, I want you to know that it's being noticed by so many people.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mom, did you know about this? You didn't know about this, okay.
What a lovely guy. Oh my God. Seeing his face, I think he was trying to hold back tears. What an absolute sweetheart.
It's so heartening to see across the globe, from the suburbs of Nairobi to the Highlands here in Scotland, that young people are taking action with pride, ingenuity, and hope. Saving and restoring forests is vital for climate change. But I've learned on this journey that only biodiverse forests provide the resilience and stability that our planet needs to face the challenges ahead. In the next episode of Seat at the Table,
You can like feel the energy of nature here.
I'm going to meet some of the activists, engineers, and inventors.
Wow, look at this thing.
Who are trailblazing a route out of fossil fuels
Our technology, it's a life-changing technology.
to find clean energy solutions for us all.
It's all to play for.
It's windy.